everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be exploring is GM's Subterranean Complex, which, as you can see, we're starting out anywhere but. Oh, this is not what I expected at all from the map title. Seems we find ourselves in the middle of a well-lit city park, beneath the city lights and the night sky, which I kind of feel like we wouldn't be able to see stars, but it's certainly appropriate for the mood. Yeah, that's not the only thing that's kind of strange. No city sounds at all. Only the chirping of the crickets. Oh, it's quite a serene scene, even if not a totally realistic one, but maybe that just feeds into the sort of unnatural parallel reality waiting just beneath it all. This is going to be something of an unintentional trilogy with the previous two Gary's Mod Explorers. I was actually only informed after recording GM Fever Dream that this, Fever Dream, and GM Stormwalled are all by the same creator. And when I learned that, of course that meant I had to play this one next. It had already been on my list for a while, but I figured, hey, why not make a thing of it? Oh, and this is such a gorgeous space, but knowing we're going underground, I can't help but think that this is a site I'm going to be thinking about the whole rest of the time. Whenever I'm down underground for a long time, I always yearn for that cool night air. I don't know what it is about this water in particular that looks like I can reach out and touch it, is what I was going to say if VR wasn't deliberately taking away my RP moment. Wait, give me a moment, concocting a backstory for RP purposes. I'm imagining that we are a frequent patron of this park, but these two gates on these sides are always closed. And after leaving late one night, we notice that at closing time, these gates close, and as they do, the other ones open. And ever curious, we hatch a plan to sneak in, or perhaps stay in after dark, and see where they lead. It's the entrance to every Goosebumps episode, so of course I want to check it out. It's those little green fireflies back from GM Stormwalled. That actually gives us kind of a dilemma, doesn't it? I mean, presumably they're all connected underground, but which one do we enter first? Tell you what, I'm actually seeing two different kinds of entrances, one with a white light and one with a blue light. So maybe we just check out one of each type first and see what they're like? Oh, hello, there's a little building off to the side here, diner. Oh, a little kitchen window in the middle of the park. That is so cool. Oh, look, and there's even like park benches all around it. It's like a bird feeder for humans. Now, this is actually like adding to the comfiness of this park. This is a really cozy image because it just conveys the idea that people are meant to be here, that they want people to gather here and have a fun time. Which is actually, like, that may seem like nothing to some of you, especially depending on where you live. But for me, everything is very get in, spend money, get out. So this is really cool to see. Oh, and look at that. There's even, like, portions of the sign where it's a little dimmer. That is such a cool little detail. Also, sorry if my voice isn't really cooperating today. It feels so weird coming out for some reason. Of course, I don't know how it's actually going to sound yet. I think it's just because I've been recording like non-stop for the last couple of weeks between this and Into the Radius and, well, by now you're aware of Little Nightmares. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed it. I actually wish I could record more often, but then, you know, stuff like this happens. Is there anything back here? I really have been playing too much Into the Radius. I just tried to turn on my headlamp. The dumpsters around back, the grass so clearly not mowed. We are at Raccoon Alert 5. All right, let's get out of here and see what this is all about. This looks pretty unassuming, but for a park, this seems to go quite deep. Still, I suppose it's not entirely out of place. I mean, this doesn't look too different from what you might find, say, beneath a pool. Okay, let's go check out one of those blue ones, and then we'll be back. Actually, I hadn't thought about it until this moment, but where is that blue glow even coming from? It doesn't look like there's a light source that's obvious. Oh. Oh, what is all this? Water beneath a grate, yet there's plants left out suggesting that this is decorative rather than practical. And this is all above ground. But we have an entrance to the underground right here. Now, here's my question. Why would this all be in the middle of a public park? I mean, with the gates closed, presumably during the day, if there's people going in and out, I mean, I can understand having a secret facility with a secret entrance in a public place, but a park just doesn't make any sense to me. Well, at least the bathrooms are well stocked. Wait, but does that mean that... Oh, maybe this is actually... Maybe these gates are actually open during the day. Like, maybe this is a guest bathroom area? But if that is the case, this would be pretty extensive for what's supposedly just bathrooms. Especially when they have the little hut for the diner over there. So what we gather here is that while everything on this side may be publicly accessible, all 4 of these walls contain staircases going down, meaning that the area of this park may represent the area of whatever's down there. Of course, this being a subterranean complex, that says nothing about vertical levels. Only way to determine that is going to be to get down there for ourselves. Ah, good. Door still open exactly as I left it. Which is what we want because, well, A, it means nobody's closing doors behind me, and B, it means that doors will remain open, which will help us to navigate. I was just about to say how off-put I was by the lack of ambient sounds. But that gentle pulsating of the building's systems behind the walls is only a little bit of comfort. Well, clearly this place is still in use, but if it is only to be accessed at night, why is there no one here now? Boiler room? It just goes even deeper. Which means this is probably just used as like a regular maintenance hallway. I mean, all of this is not super out of place for a park, but the deeper we go, the more that plausibility gets stretched. Well, down another level. We should actually probably start keeping a count. So this would be level -1 for our purposes. We'll just call it 1. Now we're heading down to level 2. Okay, well, there's another hallway here, down to level 3. Now we'll just call this 2. It'll be a lot easier to keep track of. This one a bit darker. And a little dingier. Almost like this is a space that's less used. I imagine it being that one storage area the employees don't like having to go down to, especially alone. But that garage door suggests that there's an other entrance somewhere else. Oh, screw that. Okay, there's a door in there. For a second, looking at the shadows, I thought maybe it was just like a narrow corridor that turned to the right. Still, the deeper we go, the less I like this. It's almost like the back hallways of a mall or something. That's not something you typically need under a park. So this is all some kind of infrastructure. Maybe power infrastructure, but for what? And those are some huge pipes, suggesting they need a lot of volume of some liquid or gas. Oh, come on. Oh, I bet we can get in there. There's some, like, mechanical noises coming from over here. And now from over here, they're kind of coming and going. It's like they're moving all around me. Hang on. I'm probably going to have to boost the audio for this, but when I listen carefully to that machinery, I mean, obviously there's like the metallic sounds in electronics, but also I feel like at points I can faintly hear like talking. Like the sounds of, like, distant conversation in a large room. Hang on, can we get back down there? Come on. But weirdly enough, it's not coming from these. I can't even hear it from right next to this machinery. Actually, I've just noticed a really cool detail. Look at all these cables crisscrossing haphazardly beneath the metal grate. Most of it piled up in a big rat's nest over here, over whereby these boxes are. I wonder if actually looking at this infrastructure isn't going to be important to figuring out what this place is. And this looks a lot like one of those hatches on GM's Stormwald. Yep. Man, I feel like there's a standard height for vent entrances, and this ain't it. Straight back into here. Well, I should have known that something that gets us closer to the surface wouldn't actually get us closer to the truth. I think it's down all the way down. I think what's unnerving me the most about this place right now is the fact that, look, it's clearly not abandoned. It's not very dirty. The lights are on. But there's no one here either. It doesn't make any sense for these gates to be open during the day, but they're open at night and no one here now, so just when does this place actually get used? It's the kind of thing that seems like a government conspiracy or something on its surface, but it doesn't even make sense as that. Actually, its location right in the middle of a public park, where anybody could stumble into this just from the bathrooms through a door with a window on it. I don't know. If anything, it just makes me think of the Bernard's door phenomenon. The idea of stumbling upon some door in a familiar place that leads to somewhere utterly unfamiliar. And here we go. The lights are out here, but this suggests that someone needed to light it. Meaning, maybe they're closing up shop? Maybe that's why the gates were accidentally left open. Maybe they were in the process of closing this place up. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff under a tarp packed away. Then again, the fact that these things are sporadically placed about suggests that this is an ongoing process. I mean, that machine is still on. Maybe they brought a battery for that too. Yeah, no. I was thinking that when we were on that first surface level that it might be something just used for park maintenance, but as we get further down, instead of finding things that are more and more upkept because it's more secretive, actually what we're finding is more decay. Never mind. You know what? Just take all the commentary I've done so far and discard it with every next room. That's totally fine. We're doing this again. Actually, wait, no. Some of you have actually told me of a potential way to fix this. Give me a second. Oh, sweet. Yes, it worked. Okay, so I'll throw it up on the screen. The command that some of you had told me to use is r_flushlod. And I don't know what it did, but it seems to have restored these props. That's a bug that's been plaguing me literally the entire time I've been doing these series, so thank you so much. I wonder if it would work on invisible doors on some maps. Oh, but hey, I've just realized, even from right here, I can, like, faintly hear crickets. I mean, for all I know, that's outside my own window, but I can just barely hear it. Other than that, it's totally silent, but man, why does it have to be positioned this way? And not that it would actually be any better otherwise, but I can just imagine what it would be like working in this office. Just sitting here, constantly looking up, not sure if you saw something move beyond the blinds. Constantly feeling, let's close this door, constantly feeling the darkness beyond the glass, reflecting light back at you, knowing that you can't see out, but anything can see in. I would be so paranoid in this situation. I'm the kind of guy who could get paranoid even from sitting in this chair and occasionally looking up because I imagine somebody sitting in the opposite one. I'm sorry, I know I'm spending a lot of time on this one room, but this whole office almost seems designed for peripheral vision jump scares. I mean, look, you're working on your computer late into the night, and all the while, your peripheral vision contains that door. Just in the blur off to the side of your monitor, you think you may have seen someone standing there or walking past. This place just sucks. But at the same time, it's a safety bubble. An incomplete safety bubble, one where you control whether you can see in or out through here, but not from over here. Especially if they would keep the hallway dark like this during regular operations, but there's that signature purple glow that the creator showed they loved so much on GM Fever Dream. Walking out here is somehow even worse, being able to see the light peeking out through the slats in the blinds. Not sure if, as you walk, you'll see some dull-eyed figure sitting at one of the desks, the one unexpected one after a series of nothing, and find the seat now unoccupied when you come back. Press your face up against the glass to see where they went, and bam! Jump scare from the side. I realize I've just basically described office drones, but it's not a classist thing. It's really more of an I can easily scare myself with made-up scenarios thing. Anybody just come on in. Oh, we can't. Oh, look at that hallway. Rows of pipes on the sides, but no other doors. It just leads to that one room down the hall. This door's not locked, it's blocked. Well, between that and the fact that they're seemingly vacating the premises, did they maybe not want something getting out? Okay, the only way we're going to be able to even speculate on that is to try and determine what this place actually did. Oh my. We're circling back in on where we came from, which is kind of disorienting me a little bit because it's making it hard to gain a mental map of this place. More computers here, machinery. Maybe this was some kind of security room, but then again, I have no idea what this thing is. But this circles back to here. Okay, so this seems to be like the main floor where most of the office employees would have been. Obviously, we have the office hallway, the security, break rooms, so maybe this is like the lowest tier of security. Then again, this looks more like the back of a 7-Eleven. Why would they have these store shelves? Maybe there was more going on down here than I think. Maybe this wasn't just a place where people work, but also live? I mean, this all looks like it never finished construction, or like it was undergoing renovations. My God! Okay, what? Okay, creepiness of this whole display aside, stop that! Oh my god, I do not like the way those shadows just moved in my peripheral vision as I turned the light. What is all this? Because I came down here thinking like, okay, government research facility, or maybe some kind of like military experiment, but this... Well, I mean, I suppose it doesn't throw out the experiment idea, but if that's the case, the experiment would have been a population living underground. This isn't just like a company store, this is like a whole megamart. But that still doesn't explain all of you being left out this way. It doesn't explain why no one's here at any time of the day. Those over there look like freezer doors. So, yeah, so it's like this was supposed to be some kind of gigantic food store that was never completed. So what happened that caused them to pack up and abandon all this work? We can't get through there, probably for the better that we don't freeze ourselves. And a whole parking garage with cars still left behind. Now here's actually kind of a disturbing thought. If this place did have to be abandoned in a hurry, even leaving the gates open, in that case, maybe something that just happened if we were able to come here and do this so easily, and there were so many people involved with this, maybe these are just the cars of the people who didn't make it out. Don't think I don't notice you and your weird foot hand. And back to here. It all circles back to here. Yeah, after seeing all that, I'm definitely going with my earlier theory that people weren't just supposed to work down here, but also live down here. The reason you don't see people going in and out is because those entrances up in the park aren't actually the primary entrances and exits. You come down here with a car. Those are just for service or possibly emergencies. But it doesn't explain why they've been left open. Let's try going down this way. With the way these mannequins are laid out, the way the lighting is done, it almost makes me think that this is some kind of like deliberate display. But by who? I have no idea if we would still be under the park itself, but presumably these lead to ramps which can come out just wherever within the city. But it still bothers me that these are the cars that no one's claimed. This one, its door actually still hanging partway open, almost like someone almost made it. And this is another way back up. Locked. And it looks like the door is boarded as well. Yep, right back up to the surface. We went right in one corner and right back out the other. There were a couple of doors that I still haven't checked. Ooh, this opens up considerably. Janitor's bucket's still left out. See, that's the thing, is that parts of this look like they've been abandoned for a long time, and other parts look like people will walk in any minute and start their shift. Do not trust her. Well, I recognize this is a portal asset, but it's still really disturbing given it being the only piece of context we have on this place. Whoa. Okay, the presence of shipping containers suggests infrastructure a little bit bigger than those garage doors we've seen. What kind of operation is this all supposed to be? Oh, look at all this. Those rows of lights uniformly standing overhead. Oh, I feel like a rat in a maze. If we climb up here, maybe we can get a better view? Yep. Yeah. In all of this, I definitely feel better about being higher up. What is it with this creator and mazes of shipping containers haphazardly strewn about a warehouse? It was the same thing on GM Stormwald. Then again, we never determined the real purpose of that facility either. Only that it was abandoned following something really dark, presumably having to do with the prisoner in that one cell. Maybe these ideas are kind of connected? I don't know. Can we jump to that? Yep. Oh, we sort of can, but we also get our necks stuck in the grate, and that's the end of us. So back down to ground level we go. Oh, once again, the most disturbing thing is just how quiet it is. It's like being locked in a BJ's after dark. Did I just hear something? When the sounds are subtle, I can never tell if it's just something around the room or outside or something in-game, especially when it's so fleeting. I can't get up here. And more of these lights. Man, what were you using that for? It's almost like the same crane operator from GM Stormwald was here, just stacking all this up to make a really sick paintball arena. Which, now that I look at it, it very easily could be. And if the place is abandoned now and nobody's supposed to know it's here, then, I mean, finders keepers? And it's right back into the purple zone. I have to say, though, in contrast with GM Fever Dream, I really like how it's mostly these vending machines that cause that purple glow. Still a reason to have that color here, while keeping the map more grounded. Okay, that was a real heart-stopping moment, just watching the door swing open to a wall of black. And swing my flashlight up to a slightly further wall of black. I don't like this. This is advanced darkness. There are little areas where I can maybe see some lights in the distance, but this is huge. It looks like some kind of parking structure, but I don't see any lines on the ground to indicate where cars would stop. Okay, walls are good. Just hug the wall. See, I hate parking garages like this because I feel like at any moment I'm going to hear a wailing, echoing scream somewhere in the darkness and hear the sounds of footsteps echoing, wet footsteps on the floor. And then something will come screaming out of the darkness at me from any direction. Let's keep going. Oh, there's a ramp that actually goes upward. Well, I'm not looking to travel upward right now. I want to see what those other lights on the other side of the room are first. There's two. One that looks like a door over there, and something else on the left here. This parking lot, as far as I can tell, has been completely vacated. So we found our way around to the other side of that hallway. Mystery solved. And this is yet another staircase up to the surface. Imagine if this had been our entrance to this facility. Where does this one come out? Well, I'll tell you what, that goes somewhere. Are there vents on all of these staircases? Oh. Wait, that is so weird. A lot more cars left behind here, but this upper level is completely lit, while that lower one is left in the dark. Why? Either this facility is having power problems, or they've deliberately left it that way. This van's door has been torn right off. I almost thought we'd be heading right back up to the surface, and maybe we still can. Not only does it go back up to the surface, it goes to the area within this space. Alright, well, obviously I have to see what's in here. Alright, are you gonna play nice with the crouch jump? There we go. Come on. Open up. Every time I'm trying to open something and it's not working, I feel like a little raccoon. Yeah. Now, where are we exactly? The catwalk above the main warehouse. You know, everything we see suggests that even though we've been led on a somewhat linear path, I think there's gotta be a lot more to this place than what we've seen. A lot of doors we couldn't access. And all of this is for... well, it's for a lot more than stocking some grocery store shelves, that's for sure. Some kind of control room. Look, a can left out on the table, overturned. Like everybody was sitting around and some manager just walked in and said, "Hey, everybody get up, we gotta go." I'm having a hard time comprehending how all of this fits together. I mean, there's so much verticality, so much up and down, that it's hard to imagine when it doesn't feel like we've gone down that many stairs that all of this could be beneath that park. And imagine finding something like this, especially if it was a park you frequent. Having not known that all of this was just below your feet all this time, and suddenly coming to that revelation. Oh my god, I wouldn't tell a soul about this. I would keep this all to myself. And probably eventually get eaten by whatever they seal down here, but oh wow, that would actually be a really cool plot to a horror movie, wouldn't it? Just before we move on, I wonder what's over here. Okay, where does this go? Where are we? Oh, it's a little booth in the middle of the woods. Presumably like some kind of emergency exit. That one little outbuilding that you'd never think twice about, that just looks like some kind of pump house or maintenance room. That is so cool. So there would be rewards for venturing into the darkness. I was wondering if something would be hidden in here. Oh, look, that's actually really cool and realistic looking how all this overgrowth actually casts a moving shadow in my flashlight beam. Oh, and speaking of overgrowth, look at this building. It's got all these vines and moss on it, all tagged up and vandalized. People walk by this thing every day, and yet they just have no idea what's contained within. I just love the idea of all this being under such a public place, instead of some remote location in the middle of nowhere. Look, there's all these trees going through the metal bars, suggesting that even though it's like some kind of secret facility, it's not necessarily well maintained in all aspects. This is something even the employees don't usually think about. Also, this sort of reminds me a little bit of the tunnel entrance on my map, Macy State Psychiatric Center. But let's get back down there. What a difference. Especially when taking that ladder makes you really realize just how close all of this is to the surface. I mean, the ceiling of this room is just beneath people's feet. That's the cool thing about this map, is just the audacity of putting something like this where it is. Now, we haven't been through here yet. Oh, green machine. Changing the pace a little bit, huh? Huh. It looks like, yeah, this place has been totally shredded. Most of the ceiling has been removed, but this was not done correctly at all. Almost like they were in the middle of tearing it down and then just stopped. Some kind of reception? Every once in a while, I'll be walking and just catch the faintest hint of some kind of sounds. Sometimes it sounds like the wind, sometimes it's crickets. Look, even more. Yeah, this whole thing definitely looks more like a temporary setup than a permanent one. Layoffs, anyone? This was definitely HR. I guess they want people to be comfortable when they find out they're losing the coolest job in the world. Although, given the state of this place, maybe it wasn't all that glamorous. Maybe those people got lucky. Now, where does this staircase go? We'll finish exploring this floor, since we are technically closest to the surface. Huh. Oh, it's all storage units. Can we actually, like, open them? Doesn't seem interactable. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of state this place was in when it was left. Some places seem like they're being built up, others seem like they're being torn down. I don't think this place was under construction, given the state of that one ladder entrance. I just realized the glass on these vending machines has been smashed. Guess someone knew they were in here and helped themselves on the way out. Oh, I just realized that garage door is partly open. Huh. Well, if there really is some horrible monstrosity down here that's going to come tearing its way towards me at some point, maybe I can make my base in here? Who am I kidding? I've played enough Project Zomboid to know you never want only one way in and one way out. Okay, and that throws all my previous theories that there's something going on here that caused them to all leave right back onto the number one slot in terms of plausibility. Oh, look, it's just all the trash and garbage piled up. I hope that mannequin doesn't feel snubbed, but I do have a certain order to work in. There's a hatch right here. Where do you lead? Straight back to here. The power of decisions in this world, huh? If we had turned around and gone in the opposite direction of where we started, one of the first things we had seen would have been this. Imagine finding this first and then discovering the grocery store. Oh, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't decide which is worse. But that's definitely blood. Actually, should we maybe check and see if the number of mannequins corresponds to the number of cars left behind? You know, I probably should have seen that coming. Oh, what are you doing out here, Fred? Seriously, this is like an I Am Legend moment. Can I move you at all? Okay, so you don't have physics enabled. How am I getting out of here? Remember before when I said never have one way in or out? What do I do about this? There's got to be some way. Ah! That is some way. And we find this unit now permanently closed. Or maybe just until the next person comes down here. Oh, actually, there's a thought. How do we know that from the moment we entered, this door didn't start slowly grinding open in anticipation? So that tears it then. This isn't just a case of map empty because Gary's mod, no. Oh, like a child not telling anyone about a clogged and overflowing toilet in the school bathroom when I was 9. This is a case of the government slinking away from a mess it created and didn't know how to solve. The government or whoever ran this facility. But there's still more to see. There's still more to see, and I hate that. Yep. Anything beneath the stairs? Always gotta check. No. Oh, the doors are open. It's the office hallway. We've already been here. Oh, look at that door in the darkness. Oh, the depth of that. I'm getting almost like a vertigo effect from it. Almost looks like a hole in reality when you look at it this way. I think the one thing I haven't tried doing yet is walking down here. But why would they block off this in particular? That's what I still don't understand. Is that going to be another hatch? It is. And presumably that hatch leads to the last unexplored part of this facility. For all I know, these barrels contain trioxin corpses. Yep. Oh, great. It's another one of these things that this developer is so fond of. Where does this come out? Hey, guys. That would have been the ultimate jump scare. This is actually... You know, maybe it's not just a place for peripheral vision jump scares. Maybe it's a place for the ultimate office pranks. Then again, don't remind me of the phrase office prank. So that was GM Subterranean Complex. And it is so cool. And look, I've explored a lot of maps with the premise of some kind of secret underground facility. But what makes this one stand out is just the mundanity of it. And I mean that in two different ways. First of all, this is very much a map about the horror beneath our feet. And so I think it's really valuable that it actually allows us to explore not just the facility itself, but the park above it. And just the audacity of having all of this take place in such a public space. That's a really cool thing, and such a neat twist, but also the mundanity of the facility itself. I mean, we didn't find any crazy labs or evil experiments. What we found was, well, what looks like it could be any kind of government building just underground. Which makes this whole thing all the more mysterious. It doesn't give us anything that would make us think experiment gone wrong or dug too deep. We simply have no idea. Heck, the place isn't even really in that much more disarray than you would expect from a place undergoing remodeling. All we have are those empty cars left behind in the parking garage, certain areas left in darkness, this field of mannequins, and whatever's going on in that storage unit, the one trace of blood. And that's what makes this so much scarier. It's the fact that you're constantly curious, pushing you on to try and discover what it is that's here, and at the same time unsure of what it is you're walking into. Not to mention, a phrase which here means I'm about to mention multiple times and in great detail, this map manages to avoid feeling samey like a lot of these ones do. Every area feels like it has such unique visuals and feeling to it. I mean, look at this darkened hallway with the lights peeking through the slats and the blinds. The purple glow from these vending machines. It's touches like this that stick out to you. It's things like this that I'll remember when I'm thinking of the map. And the fact that certain things, certain visuals like that field of mannequins are so few and far between just makes it feel that much creepier. It's knowing that most of this looks like, park maintenance offices or even just a typical government facility, occasionally broken up by images like that. Images like the mannequins, images like a completely blackened parking garage. There may have only been one or two overt scares on this map, but to me, the horror is in the premise. A premise that only fully reveals itself once you've been through the whole thing. That not only is this place stashed quietly beneath the feet of a very public place, but also something very dangerous happened here. Something very dangerous was unleashed, and they just left it here without telling anyone. So not only is all of this hidden just outside of public view, just parallel to everyone's everyday reality, they have no idea the landmine they're walking on top of. And even after going through it ourselves, we have no idea what that landmine actually is. It's such a cool horror map in such a subtle way, and that's what I like about it. But I believe now it is time for our Noclip run to see how all this connects. Yep. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's even bigger than I was thinking. I mean, not only in terms of the space itself being huge, but also that park is quite large. And that's the cool thing, is that with all these winding corridors, all of them so wide and so tall, all these giant chambers and multiple levels, you really lose track, not just of where you are in relation to the park, but also where you are in terms of depth. And what I think I like the most about the design of this place is just how realistic it is. There's no rooms for the sake of having rooms. You can see a clear purpose in everything. There's such a mix of areas that are pristine, that are somewhat worn, that are in various states of repair and disrepair. But it never feels out of place. It just feels like a facility where there are different areas for different purposes. See, for what this map is going for, this is a really nice way to go about clutter. It's not ransacked, but people are people. So we have some things which are knocked over, some things which aren't at perfect 90-degree angles, things just left about, but, you know, it's not for the sake of making the place look destroyed, it's just for the sake of making it look lived in. And that simple thing adds so much value to making it feel so real, and making you wonder just what it was that the real people who were here went through. And all the horror is in that ambiguity. I mean, coming back to this office here, I kept talking about how you could freak yourself out sitting at this computer late into the night, but what if one of those times there actually was something there? Well, I'm going to be cowering in here for a while. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this map out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.